Hello and welcome back to another Made with Love tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to seed stitch, or sometimes known as moss stitch. This here is the seed stitch, or sometimes known as moss stitch, and it's essentially using a combination of knitting and purling your stitches in an alternating manner. Now, in our kits, you will always have an odd number cast on, so that you'll always start with a knit one, and then you'll purl one, knit one, purl one. And what it does is it creates this alternating knit one, purl one stitch to create this bumpy effect. So we're going to start where you would usually do a purl stitch because of the way that the stitch is created. That's the difference between a purl stitch and a knit stitch. But what we're going to do this time is knit. So working yarn at the back, knit the first stitch, and the next stitch we're going to purl. So we're going to bring our working yarn from the back to the front, and then go from the back to the front and purl the stitch. If you don't know how to knit and purl, I do have videos how to do each of those separately, so definitely get on board with that. Now the next stitch is going to be a knit stitch, so we're going to bring the working yarn from the front to the back, and we are going to knit. And now the next stitch we're going to purl, so we're going to bring the working yarn from the back to the front and purl like so. And then we're going to knit, so working yarn at the back, knit the stitch, and then we're going to purl, so we're going to bring the working yarn back to the front, and we're going to purl, and then back to a knit stitch, working yarn at the back, knit like so, then bring it to the front to purl, at the back to knit, and then the front to purl, and back to knit. And then you're going to repeat exactly the same thing when you turn your work. You're going to repeat the same thing, and you're going to knit on top of what looked like a purl stitch, and you're going to purl on top of what looks like a knit stitch, and you're going to constantly do that to create this alternating bumpy seed stitch texture. Thank you for watching that Made with Love tutorial. I hope it was useful to you, but if you need any more help with your knitting or anything crafty, we have plenty more tutorials where that came from. So for now, keep making with love.